Hello, everybody. This is Hondo Carpenter, your Las Vegas Raiders beat writer on SI and the host of the Las Vegas Raiders Insider Podcast. I'm also your NFL senior writer on SI, joined by my bride, who literally 1 second, it's winding down, ready to start recording. She goes, "Can you look and see? Do I have lipstick on my teeth?" We are supposed to be having a serious football conversation. And you want to talk? Is there lipstick on my teeth? Is there any on mine?
We didn't kiss that hard.
All right, honey. Let's get right out. Remember this: if you want to ask a question or you have a thought or a comment, send us an email at SpartanNationMail, MAIL @yahoo.com, and put in the subject line Raiders Q&A. It gets reviewed. I do not read the email. I don't even. I literally would never write an article, never travel, never have family time. Would I?
Probably not, no.
We get voluminous amounts, but it gets through, it gets read, and then it gets condensed, and then they go through, and if there's like a ton on one topic, which remember last week they did like 6 or 7 on one topic, but we got, I think it was over, I don't remember now, but I think the figure was high in the hundreds on one topic. But they'll take the biggest themes, the matching themes, and fill those out. And so here we go.
All right.
And by the way, we don't get these. We don't even pick them.
No.
So I'm as surprised as you are when they get read. So go ahead.
I did read I have skimmed through them.
Oh, wait.
Getting ready.
And wait, I'm going to tell you why she did that, though. Because she used to get people to go, "Oh, she's not a real fan. She mispronounced the name." Because she would read the people's email and they misspelt names. So now so do you do that every time now?
For the most part.
Okay, so now
just in case.
Like, do you do it like, how long before the show do you get them?
Just the morning of.
Okay, so you don't. Okay.
I don't sit and ponder them. I just skim through the questions.
And I don't get to see them. So we want this to be like 2 people sitting at a bar over some broccoli bites. Or some cheesy crab soup.
No.
Yeah.
Lamb chops.
Oh, or lamb chops. Ooh.
Good.
Oh, that sounds good. All right, let's go.
All right. I'm actually grateful for this first question because we're going to lay the foundation for this podcast and get the biggest question out of the way. Hondo, I'm trying to learn the process that you operate under. On your podcast on Tuesday, you mentioned that a source in the building had mentioned probably 3 weeks on Colton Miller.
Mm-hmm.
Then we learned later in the day he was going to be on IR. Any info on what happened? I'm not calling you out, but I want to learn the behind the scenes and what actually happened. Chris B. in Winnipeg, Manitoba.
Hi, Chris. First of all, I love the question, and you're not calling me out. If I say something and it turns out to not be accurate, that's not calling anybody out. So first of all, let's go back and let's replay. Thanks to Brian Anthony Davis, our producer. Let's go back and play exactly what I said yesterday in the podcast. Brian, roll that, will you? Immediately after the game, I had said to you on my podcast that the same person that had told me that Brock Bowers, they thought they would be back, also told me that they felt like there was good news with Colton. You may remember there was a lot of people wondering if Colton had broken a bone when he got injured in the game. Well, there was good news. And in that, at least now, it's of the sprain variety. It's not a break. To the extent, not sure of that. We'll learn more in the coming days. But I can tell you now, the mood is that he probably doesn't. There's just no official word, but there is great speculation that he will probably not play for a few weeks. Again, that's not the definitive word from the team. It's just what the same source that told me about Brock Bowers has told me about Colton, that they think he's probably going to miss a couple weeks. But even they said, not sure at this point where it is definitively. All right. Thank you. First of all, big shout out to Brian Anthony Davis. We love Brian. Thank you, Brian, for adding that in there. So I made it very clear. Nothing was definitive, and that's what they were thinking. Our source is not a doctor, and our source is a great source. And in fact, somebody, and I want to make this point very clear, was not being a jerk. who said to me, "You better update your Rolodex." And they were not being a jerk. Their heart was in a bantering way. It was not in a jerk way at all. That source has been golden to us. You know who it is. And that person, and when they gave me that information on Monday, it was, we thought it was just a sprain. It's a high ankle. And they said, they're going to go in for some more testing. They did not until Monday find out afterwards that it had been broken. And it was a hairline fracture. So, yeah, he's out. And no, that source was a golden source. Sometimes, there are things that happen. I remember one time reporting that a player was going to play. I reported it like on a Thursday night. And then Saturday night at the hotel, they had twisted it going up a set of stairs. They'd gotten a twist on an injury and kind of tweaked an injury and couldn't play. And people like, "Oh, look at you were wrong." No, because we were told that they were playing, and then that had happened. So, no, I have no problem. Anything I say to you, I don't have a problem with that. And this is the thing where I laugh about is when people want. That's why we played you. It's called proof of performance in the media industry. Exactly what I said. And a big loss. Colton is a huge loss, and you can't get around that. And that is a massive loss. This is why. Remember when the Raiders played the Patriots? And I said if they were playing this game in November, I would have picked the Patriots. Because I don't think the Raiders are deep.
Right.
Charles Grant is not ready. Stone Forsythe has played a lot. He'll fill in great. But neither of them is Colton.
Right.
Depth. And so this is why I said I don't think the Raiders are a playoff team. If all of their starters were to stay healthy, I told you I thought they would have been, but that's not the reality. People get hurt in the football season. That's just the reality of the situation. It's why this game is such a beautiful work of art. It's why football in the pursuit of the oblong ellipsoid which is what the shape of a football is such a glorious thing. It is because this sport, imagine taking a skin of a pig and then shaping it and molding it like a potter in a piece of clay into an oblong ellipsoid and having the greatest athletes on the planet, some mammoth mountains of flesh like a Colton Miller, down to the smallest of Smurfs like Dylan Labe or Trey Tucker, and battling on a gridiron for perfection. It is why this game is a thing of beauty. It is why if you were to take Shannon in all of her glory and turn it into a sport, it would be looking like football is the Shannon of sports. It's the elite. And so this game is a thing of beauty, full of injury, because it is a physical battle and a will to repel them, force them to relinquish their possession of the oblong ellipsoid. And may God have mercy on our soul. Next.
Well, thank you, Professor Carpenter. What is that shape again?
An oblong ellipsoid. I learned that in 9th grade. I was sitting in Mrs. I gotta remember her name. I remember her nickname. No. She had all white hair or maybe it was all black hair with a white stripe or all white hair with a black stripe. And she was my freshman English teacher at Langsburg High School in Langsburg, Michigan. Oh, I cannot believe I cannot remember. I mean, her nickname, you can figure it out if it was Sweet Lady. She was a sweet, sweet lady. But I remember sitting there with one of my classmates. Her name was Michelle. She was in the marching band. And she informed me that I think she was one of those people. What do they do? The ones who take the stick and twist it?
A batonist?
A batonist. Is that what it really is called, a baton?
Mm-hmm.
Well, she took the stick and twisted it. And she'd been to band camp. And she had learned that it was called the oblong ellipsoid. Thank you, Michelle. Boy, so here we are. What is this, like?
A long time later?
Yeah, a long time later. 31 years later.
Man, you're
Oh, 30 years later. No, 40 years later. Oh, my goodness. 40 years later. Now you're just going to want to know about Michelle, the stick twister.
batonist. I used to twist a baton.
No, I have a picture of you that sits in my truck in your cheerleading outfit.
All right.
And on my wall somewhere.
I'm going to find you.
Oh, it's fine.
All right, Hondo. Gino may be a nice guy, but he's a garbage quarterback. Bring back Derek Carr. We suck again. Jason C. from Atlanta, Georgia.
Reminds me of that Happy Gilmore movie. We suck again. Okay.
What?
That was no, it wasn't Happy Gilmore. It was The Water Boy.
Oh,
one of the greatest football movies of all time. All right. Okay. The week 2 and week 4, Geno Smith played like garbage. Week 1 and 3, he played like, in week 1, he was a top 2 quarterback in the NFL. Week 3, he was a top 5 quarterback. If your definitive statement is he is a garbage quarterback, okay. But first of all, Derek Carr's injured, can't play. So you want somebody that can't play to come back. Genius. Man of genius. Remember those guys? I mean,
you gotta stop. You're really showing your age.
Real man of genius. Anyways, I mean, okay. So let's get rid of a quarterback that twice has looked to be top 5, twice has looked to be bottom 5 for a guy that's injured and can't play. Let's make Hondo a cheerleader. I got nothing. Okay. If you want to replace him, I don't have an issue with that. Who are you going to replace him with? Cam Miller? He ain't ready. Who are you going to replace him with?
All right. Hi, Hondo and Shannon. I am curious.
And wait. And I want to go back because I'm getting frustrated now. The more I think, the more. And I'm not saying. I mean, I've said how many times in this podcast I expect him to draft a quarterback next year. I don't think they think he's the long-term guy. He's a long in the tooth vet. But at this moment, who are you going to replace him with? Okay, you could make an argument, Kenny Pickett, where everyone in Cleveland said he was the best-looking quarterback in Cleveland prior to his injury. If this person would have said, hey, Geno may be a nice guy, but I think he's a garbage quarterback, let's go with Kenny Pickett, I would have said, okay, that's a fair analysis. I would have replaced Geno with Kenny last week, which I talked about in the post-game pod. You can go watch that. I don't need to repeat it. But that would have been an argument that I think I don't know that I would have done it, but that would have been a more germane argument. But replace him with, hey, let's replace him with someone that can't play because he's injured. It's like saying, hey, I'm going to go trade my truck in for a truck with no motor. I'm going to trade my truck in, which drives great and is great, for a car that doesn't run. A car, C-A-R.
Ha! No pun intended.
That really wasn't, but that worked out pretty good. Every once in a while, the old man has it. I still got it, baby. Or like Ralph Malph used to say, I still got it. Well, I'm showing my age again. That's Happy Days. 70% of our audience is like, who's Ralph Malph? Go search Ralph Malph Happy Days. I still got it. Just Google it, kids. I sound like Signetti, the coach at Indiana. Google it. Let's go.
All right. Hi, Hondo and Shannon. I'm curious on the coaching for Geno. I know a lot of this is player execution, but they cannot run drills or do things that will help him not stare guys down to be better. I've heard many great things about the coaching, but at the end of the day, if I am not seeing results, I question how good they are. But as usual, I might be wrong. You're both awesome. I love you guys. Sincerely, Mark from Colorado.
Hi, Mark. First of all, I want to put this right out there. If we're sitting here in November and December, and every week Geno is up, hey, week 1, he looked like a top 2 quarterback. Boom, week 2, he looked like a bottom 5. Week 3, he looked like a top 5 quarterback. Week 4, he looked like a bottom 5. If this is the process, I'm going to call out the coaching when we get to November. But if we're sitting here after 12 games and he had 3 junks and the rest have been either top 5 or top 15 performances. So here's the deal. There is an old saying. What are you laughing at?
It's an old saying.
Remember this, sweetie pie.
I'm younger than you.
Yeah, you're barely. You're
Doesn't matter.
You're a year younger than me.
Year and a half.
Oh, a year and a half younger. So when
it's okay. I'm always going to pull that card because I will always be younger.
But remember, there's an old saying. You're barking in the right field, wrong tree. After 4, that's a hunting saying. So let me just say this to you. After 4 games, I think what you're saying is, hey, we got to watch the coaching here. Go watch yesterday's podcast. I talked about this, and I agree. And by the way, I believe in this coaching staff. I am not rattled on my belief on this coaching staff one bit. I still am a major supporter of this coaching staff. If I were the owner today, I would not in any way be panicked about my coaching staff. And Ole, the quarterback coach, he's an elite coach. What I would say to you, though, is if we're sitting here after 10 games and it's the same, then I think that is totally fair and completely on the board. It's not a young player. This is a long in the tooth veteran that you wanted. It's like guys who complain about their wife. You wanted her. Shannon and I were literally just before we went to the show today. We were talking about something, and I talked about you're who I wanted. I love you. I'm just thrilled that you're my wife. I celebrate that you're my wife. I'm grateful you're my wife. I brag about you when you're not with me because I know this. I could have not done any better. And so this is the guy they wanted. They're married to him. This is a vet. This isn't like a rookie. This isn't Cam Miller out there. It's Geno Smith. So yes, I have zero issue where I think you're in the right field a little early. It's like going hunting a couple weeks before hunting season. Just wait a little bit. And if it continues, it is something to be greatly concerned about.
All right, Hondo, do you think Mark Davis is as disappointed as we are as fans? I was never a fan, but you sold me, and maybe that could console me.
Well, first of all, I'm going to tell you this. There is nobody. First of all, Mark is a member of Raider Nation. He is the biggest fan of this team. And I'm going to tell you this. I have never one time interacted with Mark Davis where I have ever done anything other than walk away more impressed with him as a person. And I know for a fact he cares. He doesn't care about the money. And that's not a joke either because he's eaten tens of millions when he's made mistakes. So what I would say to you is he is absolutely frustrated with the losing, but I don't in any way believe, and I haven't talked to him about this specifically, so this is Hondo opinion. I think he hates to lose. So absolutely, I think he is disappointed with the losing. But I do not believe in any way he is disillusioned with his coaching staff. I don't think that in the least bit. Not one bit at all. And I'd tell you if I did. All right, honey, let's go.
Hondo, I think it's safe to say that the teams in the top half of the NFL all have quarterbacks that do not cost them games. Thus far, Geno has cost us 2 games. You've mentioned several times that the Raiders are not good enough to beat their opponents along with themselves. How much longer do you give Geno if he has another performance that costs us a win? Cody S. I think you've already answered that.
Well, I know, but I don't think I've answered
Not
that
totally, but it's...
Yeah, but Cody, let me just address a couple things. You say that you don't think there's quarterbacks in the top 15 that cause their team wins. I would disagree with that. I would think there aren't quarterbacks probably in the top 5. None of them are perfect.
Right.
I don't think any quarterback in the top 5 costs their team more than 2 in a season. And Geno's cost this team 2. I do think, though, when you start getting 10 to 15, which is where Geno is, they can probably cost their team 2 to 3. So he's running on a Mulligans.
Yeah.
Which is a golf term, and I am not a golfer. Your dad would
golf
be.
Term.
What I just said.
You said a golf tournament.
Oh, that's a golf term. Your dad would be so proud of me for throwing Mulligan in there.
I'm sure he would.
There you go, Dad. But anyways, I think it's a Mulligan situation, but he's running out of Mulligans. And this ain't like those tournaments you go to. We do these things where I'll MC them for charity, where people can go pay a ton of money and buy Mulligans. So I have to tell you guys, so we went to a charity, John Shinsky's thing. We went to a charity thing one time that I was the MC for. And it was for a orphanage in Mexico. And I think it was in Monterrey, Mexico, or maybe it was in Monte something, Mexico. And our buddy John Shinsky, of course, the terrific football player, who's a great friend of ours, John Shinsky, who was adopted out of an orphanage, and that's why he started this orphanage in Mexico. And you could buy mulligans. And I'm not a golfer, and I got stuck into somebody had bought, you could buy to play golf with somebody. And so they had bought to play with me. They were a fan and they wanted to play with me. And I don't golf. So I literally said, how many shots does somebody shoot in a game? And I think they said, what they called it, par, was 72. So I said, give me 72 mulligans. The guy goes, they're $25 a piece. Well, it's going to charity. So,
well, you probably needed more than 72, didn't you?
Well, no, but my point is, I just said, can I just turn the 72 in and then win, and then say I got a 72 for the day?
You shouldn't have said that out loud. My dad's respect is not going to go up.
I love you, Dad. He's going to crack up when he sees this. So there you go. All right. Anyway, so that's a mulligan right there. All right, let's keep going.
All right. Uncle Hondo, longtime watcher here. From what I've gathered, JPJ was pretty territorial about the C spot last year. He essentially claimed it as his own and even told AP straight up that he was going to be starting center. When he first met Ashton, he introduced himself as your starting center. I can't help but wonder if Pete, who I idolize as a Seattleite and lifelong Raiders fan, saw that kind of thing and thought, we'll see who the starting center is. Ben H.
Okay, first of all, let me say I don't believe that Pete looked at that in any way. You want your guys to be aggressive. I mean, football is a testosterone-fueled game. You want your guys confident, jacked up, fired up, confident, ready to go. I mean, sitting on the edge of a razor blade, ready to explode. You want them to twitch and go. What's so funny?
I jumped. You just sit back. Sorry.
I mean, that is the nature of this game. It is a glorious game, played with the artwork of a ballet, but with the ferocity of two triceratops fighting a T-Rex while a hippopotamus is jumping in the middle of it as the referee. No, I don't think that bothers. What are you laughing at now?
I could tell you're a dad of a 3-year-old.
Why? Oh yeah. So that's so Dexter. Anyways, so no, I don't think that bothered me.
Hi, Hondo. Like everyone else, I'm concerned about the O-line. Could this be caused by them not being comfortable with the new offense and thinking too much, making them slow to the point of attack? Tom Yu from Pennsylvania, from Mechanicsburg.
Oh, cool name. I think that there could be some of that, but clearly they had their best game this past week. I mean, they were dominant this past week. They looked good. There was one play that I thought Jordan Meredith, well, everyone knows Jordan Meredith made the wrong read. Terrible play, young player. Young players make terrible plays. That's part of, remember, after Peyton Manning's first year, he set the record for interceptions, and there were people in Indianapolis calling for the owner to fire the GM because Peyton Manning is the worst coach. Every time I see Peyton, too, I remind him of that. But you just laugh. But young players
make young player mistakes.
Make boneheaded mistakes. It's like literally, I was in the airport and a guy says to me, "Do you have any advice? I'm going to be a new dad and I don't want to make any mistakes." I laugh. You're going to make hundreds. Man, listen, we have 7 kids. I think our oldest kids want mulligans on how we parent today. God bless them. So, but Jordan was that, and then I think Delmar had 2 bad plays. Again, another young player. They were dominant. I thought they were really, really good. But yeah, I think in the first 3 games for sure, that could have definitely been part of the reason. I don't think it was all of it, but it could have been part of it. Okay.
Hondo, I think Raider fans are panicking after just a few games. Why can't they give Carroll and Spytek time to right the ship? It may take a season or two to get the players in place, a few drafts to get the right guys in place. Calm down, Raider Nation. Let the guys do their jobs. I hope you can agree with me, Hondo. Kenny M.
Well, Kenny, first of all, this is why you've heard me say every time, every season since I've covered the Raiders and going all the way back to before I covered the Raiders in the NFL. I give them 21 games. At 21 games is when you fully expect to see the ascent. That gives them their first year to really evaluate what they have, then go address some stuff in free agency in the draft, make them some coaching changes because there's always going to be some tweaks usually on a first staff. But if you look at the Raiders' offensive line performance in week 4, where are all the Brendan Carroll critics? They were outstanding. I would have put the Raiders' offensive line up against anybody in the NFL. No, they were playing Washington. I mean, they were playing the Bears. So let's not pretend like they were playing Washington. But that was their best performance. They're ascending.
Right.
We've seen Geno 2 of the 4 weeks be either a top 2 or top 5 quarterback, and I don't think he's that good. I think he's a top 10 to 15. Then we've seen 2 weeks where he looked like a bottom 5 guy. But we've seen them perform that level.
So we know they can.
Yeah, we've seen Ashton last week look like the best running back in the NFL. You've seen the defense play remarkably. Brock Bowers, when he's healthy, is Brock Bowers. The wide receivers are the wide receivers when Geno can get them the ball and not the defenders. So I understand. I took a ton of criticism because I put a tweet out. In fact, hand me my phone, would you? I want to read this. Do you see my phone? Oh, it's right here.
Oh, sorry.
I want to read you a tweet if I can find it. I put this tweet out before the game. Ooh, man, did it get me a ton of criticism. But I thought it was a completely fair tweet. And I can't find it. Anyways, and in this tweet, I made the comment, I am stunned by the way this fan base is so pessimistic towards Pete Carroll. And I really, give me just 1 second here. And I wasn't stunned. Okay, here's what I put. This is not a criticism of those who hold this opinion. It is this. It is theirs, and they are entitled to their own opinion. But I am stunned at the pessimism this early in the season under a certain future Hall of Fame coach for today's game versus the Bears. No joke. I'm stunned. And here's why. I'm not surprised Raider fan is angry. I'm not surprised Raider fan is stunned. That isn't what stunned me. It was just the complete pessimism. Fire Pete. It's horrible. It's over. It's done. Every coach that they've had since I've gotten here, they didn't want.
Mm-hmm.
Even though the NFL, in my opinion, targeted John Gruden. And I didn't think John should get fired. I mean, for what was happening on the field. But there were people who did. The answer has always been, okay, let's fire everybody. Wait, who are you going to replace him with?
Exactly. Yeah. Give him a chance.
I remember one time, one of my family members, I have a nephew who didn't like his car. I hate this piece of junk. I said, all right, go trade it and buy a new one. I can't afford it. Well, then you better quit calling it a piece of junk because it's yours. You're the owner. And Pete's record is, I'll fix it. It's his record. It's his proven record. You can give Shannon a bowl of gelatinous beef, just the gelatin that comes off beef lard. You can give her a bowl of motor oil, and you can give her 5 sticks off a birch tree. This woman's going to make you a fine meal. I don't know how she's going to do it. But why? She has a track record. Pete's got a track record. Disappointment, understood. Anger, understood. But complete, utter pessimism?
That doesn't make any sense.
What I would say to you is if you demand absolute perfection from your football team or from your children or anyone else, and you do not live a life of absolute
That's right.
perfectionism, then you're a hypocrite.
Mm-hmm. I knew you were going to go there.
I mean, this
Yep.
game,
Exactly.
this is a game where those people are paid a lot of money on their side too. This is why you judge the trends, not just one thing. And so what I would say to you is I just remember one time in my life I really screwed up and I felt really bad about it. I was in high school. It was my senior year of high school. And I'll never forget my dad came in my room one day and he just said, "When you look at the trend of your life," he goes, "you make so many great decisions and make me proud." And he said, "I'm disappointed with the decision you made. But the trend of your life is you make me proud. Now let's get past this. Let's get past it. Okay, we both agree you made a bad decision, but we hopefully can both agree you're a good kid. Now let's move past it." He goes, "I'm glad you feel bad because it tells me that I raised you right. But enough's enough." I mean, that's my whole point. I just think anyone calling for Pete to get fired. Now, if you're one of those people that you never wanted Pete, okay. So you say, "Nope, I never wanted him. I don't want him today." Okay, great. I'm golden with that. But remember last year, the people that wanted AP turned on him after a few games, and I said, "No, no, no. You wanted him. You wanted a coach with no experience. You're married to this guy. Don't you dare be a hypocrite. But if you wanted him, trust the process."
Right. Hondo, I love the podcast and the content you provide for Raider Nation. After Pete Carroll's press conference today, I'm wondering about the compete for your job standard that he preached. It doesn't seem like that's happening across the board. Only spot on the O line under real competition right now is right guard with Kappa and JPJ. Honestly, it feels like there's something personable with JPJ. From Raul P.
It's not a personal thing. I can tell you that Pete does like him. It's not personal. I understand why you think that is the only place where there's competition. I can tell you that's not the case. There's competition at every position. It's just, it's not close anywhere else. And so the appearance is there's no competition. Now, you may say, if there's no competition, we don't have a very deep roster. Bingo! Uncle Hondo's been talking about depth, 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 depth. Hey, I think Charles Grant's going to be good. I think Caleb Rogers is going to be really good. They're not really good today. I think they will be. Who are you going to replace them with?
Right.
You got to go build it. Let's go.
Hondo, I love Raheem at running back, and I wonder why he wasn't out there prior to week 4. Nancy L. from Seattle, Washington.
Because they felt like Zamir had outplayed him, and because of Zamir's age, cost, and everything else, they wanted to give Zamir every opportunity to win that job. But when Zamir's performance was not where they wanted it to be, they gave Raheem the opportunity, and he's earned more.
All right. Hondo, I'm a big Darnay Holmes fan. I grew up in Cali and graduated from UCLA. I've loved the Raiders my whole life, and I now live in New Jersey. The Giants picked him as a rookie, so I was excited for him to be out here. Your interview with him in the locker room was so special. Have you gotten to know him? Is he a good guy as a person? He's a super good player, and he seems like a very nice guy. Vince T. from New Jersey.
Yeah, so Vince, let me tell you, I won't ever discuss anything I talk with people about when the camera isn't running or my recorder. So I won't share anything other than this. Wonderful guy. But we right after we got done with that conversation, we probably spent 3 or 4 minutes in the locker room. He and I are both, our faith is the center focus of our life. And he was asking me about some church recommendations in Vegas because they're trying to find a church. And I said to him, I said, Shannon and I, now, if you live in an area where there is only one color of people,
Yeah.
and so everybody that goes to that church is one color. All right, maybe you live in a rural area where everybody that lives there is white. Maybe you live in an area where it's all black. I'm not talking about that situation, but I told Darnay, I said, Shannon and I want to go to church that's going to look like heaven. And multiracial. Heaven ain't going to be all white. It ain't going to be all black. It ain't going to be all brown or red or yellow. It's going all nations, all people. And he was cracking up. He goes, exactly. And so that literally, I would tell you, because we share faith in common, that was a big deal. And I won't get into anything else. I won't share with you about anything else, not because it was anything secretive. Yeah, he's a wonderful guy, great father. And finding a great church with great children's ministry was really important to him. And when somebody's a dad, I value them most by what kind of a dad they are.
First.
Great dad, loves his family, and Darnay is a wonderful human being. Just a wonderful, wonderful human being. And so I got nothing but praise for that guy.
Awesome. Hello, Hondo. After a couple of days cooling down from the game, I had a question that occurred to me. How do you react to adversity? Adversity is just a fact of life. It happens every day. Sometimes we deal with it well, sometimes we deal with it poorly. I feel like some within the Raider organization and some within the fan base have not dealt with it well in recent years, myself included. We want a winner, and it is frustrating when it doesn't happen immediately after the hope of a new coach, a new GM, and a new staff are hired. Looking back, I was frustrated with McDaniels, Pierce, Telesco, Ziegler, and others too. And I wanted them fired quickly. That's what happened. And we have to keep starting over. So it's not surprising that Carroll doesn't have the Raiders playing at an optimal level right now. But yet there's already calls for his son to be fired. This is currently an adverse moment, and it must be met with patience. I do not believe that we are a playoff team, but I do expect improvement, albeit more in the second half of the season, because players will become more familiar with what Chip and Pete want to do and expect. Please share what thoughts you have about this. Thank you, Jeff T.
So let me just say something to you, because I've preached this for 6 years to Raider Nation. Fire this guy. Fire that guy. Fire this one. Fire that one. This one's the answer. This one's up. And I keep saying to Raider Nation, if you want to win, you have to build something.
Stability. You can't build stability when you're constantly changing your coaching staff.
That's not how it works. If you look at the teams that have success, what do they have in common? They stay the course.
Continuity.
Again, why did Peyton Manning have the success in Indianapolis that he did? Because they stayed the course. Why? Look at the Steelers. They make the playoffs every year. They've won Super Bowls. They stay the course. And there is, why do the Packers, even when they draft quarterbacks and then put them on the bench, they don't throw them in there early. Learn how to play the position from the guy in front of you who's really good. And one of the worst things, and I'm going to say this to you, I think when you look at the Raiders when they were really good, they had consistency.
Of course.
John Madden,
of course.
Tom Flores, they had consistency. And when they got sporadic, they've utterly failed. Now, I'm going to defend Mark Davis. He wanted consistency. I mean, he gives Gruden a 10-year, $100 million. And it wasn't his fault that, in my opinion, the NFL went gunning for him.
Right.
That's not on Mark Davis. He gave the big deal to McDaniels. And I can't give too much away, but I'll just say this. You know exactly what I'm thinking. But let's just say there was a lot of pressure, and he bent to the pressure. Now, once he felt like it didn't work, he ate it and got rid of him. Well, I don't think you can keep doing that. And so I agree with you. How you handle adversity. Shannon and I got asked by a person one time, I want to have a marriage like yours where, you guys are just best friends and you never disagree about anything and there's never adversity.
Who are you that asked that?
Yeah, and we were like, I mean, I think we've known each other so long, we're majorly in love that you deal with it differently. Yeah, but,
Of course, but
there's a process to it. And I'm going to say this to all of Raider Nation. Okay, you want to fire Pete? Okay, if I'm the owner, I wouldn't even listen. I would be like, I am committed to Pete Carroll. I'm gonna come back and look after 3 years.
it's so true, though.
Okay,
It's so true.
it's just running the course.
It's like that in a lot of different things in life.
It's
You always have to stay the course.
it's life.
Exactly.
I have run my race. I have finished my course, is what Paul said. And I just think that there is so much. I get it. This is the fault of a franchise that has sold the fan base just win, and then they don't.
Yeah, that's super true.
I mean, they put those words out there, and we know the power of words. Power of life and death are in your words. And they put out there, just win, baby.
It's a great slogan.
And then don't.
But
And so the fans are like, somebody listen to us. Listen, I've said this all along with consistency. I don't blame anyone but the organization because they've changed everything. They've changed players, they've changed general managers, they've changed coaches. I blame Al, who is a icon. But I blame Al because Al never trained Mark how to be. And quite frankly, at the end, Al wasn't Mr. Consistency. I think Mark has finally got this thing going in the right direction.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you right now, and I'm not a fan, but after 4 games, I am more encouraged about the future of this franchise than I've ever been in 6 years. And you may say, yeah, but you just said that you're disappointed. I am, because these are good people working hard. I don't root against good people. This organization, top to bottom, from Mark Davis on down to janitors and security guards, to PR people, these are good people. I want this organization to do well because I know the quality of human beings that work for this organization, and they're good people. And I am disappointed. But at the same time, I just think you've tried instability.
Yes.
Let's give stability a chance.
Exactly.
I'll never forget this one time, and you're going to know exactly who I'm talking about. We had a couple come to us that fought about everything. And I'll never forget Shannon said this because my chin hit the floor. She looked at them and she said, do you think everything Hondo does I like? She goes, no, but there's a time when I decide I love my husband and I don't care. I'm not going to change him. I don't care. And I remember thinking to myself, what about me does she not like? I'm laughing because she walked into our bathroom this morning and I had trimmed my beard and I thought I had cleaned it up all real good. To which I said to her, babe, what's wrong? Nothing. I said,
With these husbands, what you actually?
I'm like, babe, what's wrong? Nothing. I said, babe, I know you. Something's wrong. Nothing. But I don't know how you can't see all this. You told me it's completely, you got hair in the mirror. You got hair on this. Stability. It's stability. And stability is something you got to have in life. And you certainly got to have it building an NFL franchise. You guys have tried instability, Raider Nation. All we are saying is give stability a chance. I'm in a good mood. I'm always in a good mood when you're with me.
Oh, I thought you was going to say you're always in a good mood. And I was like, do we live in the same world?
All right, keep going. Hurry.
This is from Ryan from Fullerton, California. Hello, Hondo. Every year in the off season, we are like a kid getting ready to open up their Christmas present. We get this present. It's got new wrapping paper, ribbon, and it's topped with a pretty bowl. And it's tagged to Raider Nation from Gruden, Mayak. Then it's from McDaniels and Ziegler. Then AP and Telesco. And now it's from Carroll and SciTech. But when we open it, it's just socks and underwear. There's nothing new and nothing cool.
Whoever this is from, I bet it's a guy because that's what dads get at Christmas. Right. Oh, yeah, that's what dads get. Socks and underwear.
Now I thought going into season 3, they were still a year out, but looking good at 3 games in. I just don't see anything different. Looked good on the outside. Gino, Jean T, Chip, but it's just socks and underwear. I'm hoping for the best as the season continues. Have a great day and God bless.
Well, all I can say is it's 4 games.
I really feel like this time all of the questions they're different, but they all revolve around the
And
same thing. And I get it, and I
it's the
understand it, and
franchise's fault.
I know, and it's like I was going to say, it's all legit. But I am going to say this one thing that I think is super cool about this, though, even if it's only 4 games is I being in this whatever, what do you call your job, covering the NFL. There isn't any team out there that has a fan base like us. And so Raider Nation is amazing. And I love coming in and reading all these questions because you guys are so passionate. They're like you.
Hey,
Did you just
I'm
make
not
a face?
I'm not a,
Make a face. They're so passionate.
no, but I'm not a fan, but I live with one.
I said
And
me,
trust me, I hear it.
meaning me, not you.
I have to deal with you after every loss. What happened? What's going on here? Every text. What'd they tell you? Who is it? What'd you get? Tell me, tell me, tell me, tell me, tell me, tell me.
That's why I'm calm because I get more insight than these guys do. And that's why you have the questions and that's why we're here to answer them. And even if it's frustrating, you guys got to understand it's still exciting because you have to understand that y'all have each other's backs, man. I love Raider Nation.
I know
It's
you do.
so much fun being a fan
And they're great people.
with you guys. Yes.
And
you guys
you know,
are.
here's the point. We're both from Michigan. Lion fan,
No,
they
nothing like this.
It ain't nothing. Even now. Well, we tried. Hey, we tried.
The passion from Raider Nation.
Raider Nation? We don't care. We don't care about no trying. It's doing. That's it.
That's why it's fun. I love it.
I love it too. Let's keep going. We got to hurry.
All right. Hondo and Shannon, my favorite couple. Aw, thank you.
That's
I
nice.
appreciate you both. Uncle Hondo, this year you actually seem frustrated with the team in a way that I've never even noticed. Are you becoming a fan? Adrian.
No, not. I'm disappointed, like I just said a minute ago. You can tell we don't read the question. I don't read, just because these are good people.
Right.
And I understand the frustration of the fan base. I'm not making fun of the fans. I get it. And then I also understand the frustration. It has to, if you're Pete Carroll with your resume, and I'm not saying this is how he feels. I have not talked to him about this. This is all Hondo conjecture.
Let's make it clear.
But you have to be sitting there thinking, all right, you know what? Have I not earned any grace here?
Right.
And I don't think he even he's so disappointed. I think he's like, yeah, well, the fans don't even know how disappointed I am. But I almost feel like there is a fan base that has been so led on for so many decades, and a proven coach. I mean, this is the best coaching staff the Raiders have ever had, and they're 1-3. And I almost feel like it's Uncle Hondo's rigorous tour of truth, trying to hold on to Raider Nation, which is my wife.
So you're this spot on.
And the coaching staff that I believe in telling these two groups of people, stay together. It's okay. I'm not disappointed because I'm not a fan. You know what, that's not, I am a fan of the fan base, and I am a fan of the organization and those people in it.
Yeah.
And I want the best for my wife's a member of the fan base, and we have lots of friends part of the franchise. And I want them to do well.
Exactly.
I can guarantee you this. Let's take the biggest Raider hater in the world, whoever that may be. I don't know who that it would be, but let's just the biggest Raider hater. If you spent 25 minutes with Mark Davis, you would love that guy. He is the most humble billionaire. And Shannon and I have met several billionaires. The most humble billionaire you've ever met in your life. He is down to earth, kind, warm, funny, engaging. I can tell you, because we have been in the room with lots of billionaires, when you're with billionaires, you know.
Mm-hmm.
They have an air. If you walked into a room with Mark Davis and nobody in the room knew him, Not one person would think he was a billionaire. He is a genuinely wonderful human being. You're darn right I want that guy to do well.
Right.
I was raised by a dad that said when one person prospers, it doesn't mean you can't. And my dad used to always say, root for good people. I don't get into politics on this podcast, but I do not vote Republican or Democrat. I look for good people who have a backbone. And I can tell you right now, I want Mark Davis. I will be happy as a human when he hosts his own Lombardi Trophy. That's a good human. And he's a genuinely honorable man.
That's awesome.
And so, yeah, there you go.
Okay, Hondo, couldn't agree more about the staff getting this together. It is on them. At the same time, I loved your explanation about the Raiders have not played their best collectively, but they have individually. Do you think that is the reason for the fans' anger? Zach W. from Utah.
Wow. I have not thought about that, Zach, but I think the frustration with Raider Nation is like they've seen Geno play really good. So when he plays terrible, it's like, what the heck? They saw Ashton's tape before last week at Boise and thought, what the heck? Yeah, I think there is. All right, so let me put it to you this way. Dexter's 3. And so when he was potty training, we didn't have a problem when there were accidents. But he's potty trained now. And he's been potty trained. So if there's an accident now, we're going to be like, well, come on. Why didn't you just go into the bathroom? Why were you playing with your dinosaurs?
Exactly.
Okay. I'm going to get frustrated there. I think when people show you, I think when you're a young husband and you screw up and your wife doesn't have a standard better than that, she's like, okay. But there are things, if I did them now at 54, you'd be like, you're 54 years old. And so, yeah, I've not thought of that. Was a really good question. Yeah, I could see that for sure. Let's keep going. Oh, our next question is not a football question. So if you want to bitch, moan, complain because you don't like non-football questions, then turn off the video now. But if you watch, shut up. Next question.
Uncle Hondo and Aunt Shannon. Hola. I am 21.
Oh, that is Spanish for hello. I'm learning Spanish.
Taco, burrito.
No, I'm learning. No comprende means
I don't understand.
No, it doesn't mean I don't understand. It means I think it means I didn't hear you. Maybe it's no habla means no I didn't hear you. Yeah, I think it's no habla. All right, it means. Are you sure it means I don't understand?
I think so.
Okay, I'm getting there though.
Don't comprehend what you're saying.
Oh, maybe it's not understand. Maybe it's comprehend. Okay, let's see. We're getting there though. We are learning Spanish.
I am in school. My parents are around your age, and I would love a suggestion for a Christmas present. Rico from Berkeley, California.
Okay, well, I'm going to tell you this, Rico. I don't know how old he is.
21.
Oh, did he say 21?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to tell you what every parent wants, and you're not going to believe this because when I was 21, I wouldn't have believed it. But I have a son who's your age, who's a junior in college. And we have many sons and daughters around your age, so you're not the only one. But I will tell you exactly what your parents want. They want you. They want your time. Spend time with them. Even if it's go home and throw a deck of cards on the table and say, let's play cards. Or pull out a marble board. Let's play marble. Dad and I always win, by the way.
You do. Not always.
Dad and I always beat Shannon and Mom. But time with them. Our children are wonderful. We're really fortunate. We have great. Our oldest daughter, Marissa, has died and gone to heaven. And wonderful. And all the way down through all of our kids. We have great kids. And Shannon texted one of our daughters the other day, hey, let's go get lunch. I think that's what we said. And just give them you. You're not going to understand until you're a dad, Rico, or a mom, that when God gives you children, they're part of you. And what you love most is them.
Mhm.
And I'm going to tell it to you this way. My father loved Christmas. Shannon's already started decorating our home for Christmas. We love Christmas. And my dad, people would say that my dad went overboard at Christmas. We just had a mountain of presents, literally a mountain, and decorations and everything else. I'll never forget. I was surrounded with all of my presents, and I looked over. I was probably, I'm gonna guess, I was 10. I think it was Christmas of '81. And the only thing I wanted for Christmas that year is I wanted two things. I wanted a Ryrie study Bible because of oh, help me, our friend, he was our Bible teacher, and then he pastored at Grove. He was our teacher in school.
I have no idea who
Yeah, you do. And then
Craig Johnson.
Craig Johnson, Pastor Craig Johnson. Love you, Craig. But he used to always use the Ryrie study Bible. So I wanted a Ryrie study Bible 10, and I wanted a hockey helmet. I needed a new hockey helmet, and I wanted one with a face guard. I was tired of taking pucks to the face, and I got a lot more than that. And I remember I had my hockey helmet on, reading my Ryrie study Bible while the entire family's around the Christmas tree. And I just looked up and told my dad, thanks. He was just crying. And I walked over and I got in his lap, and I looked down and I said, Dad, I'm so sorry. You only have like 5 presents. I'm so sorry, Dad. And he goes, what are you sorry about? I said, you're crying because you only got 5 presents. He said, son, these are happy tears because I'm surrounded with all my kids who love me. And I'm listening to how, your brother read the Christmas story from the Bible, and you're over there asking for a Bible for a Christmas present. And he goes, son, these are tears of joy. You want to give your parents a present? I'm going to tell you exactly what. Give them you. Because you're not a dad, or a parent, so we can't expect you to think like us. So I'm 54 years old, and I won't get to see my dad again until I die. And him and I had a great relationship and spent a ton of time together, and I still wish we had spent more. And we talked every day but 4 in my entire life. And it was when I was in Africa for 4 days, and I couldn't reach him. I was in Lagos, Nigeria, and I couldn't reach him. But other than those 4 days, my dad and I talked every single day of my life. Back when a long distance call was a long distance call. And give them you, nothing else. Go home. And if you live at home, put your phone away, go sit on the couch with your dad. Go talk to your mom. Well, how would you answer that question?
Memories. Do something that makes memories with them. Because then you're not only giving a gift to them, you're giving it for yourself too. And I know you're not doing it to give yourself a gift, but someday when your parents are gone, you'll have those memories. This is another thing I would suggest that I think would be huge and would really mean a lot. And you can stick it in a card, you can give your mom flowers, you can go for a ride with your dad, whatever. But I would write them both a letter and tell them how much you love them, because someday they will probably frame it and put it on the wall. I have I have notes from my kids that I'm like, I would really like to frame it and put that on the wall. Some of it I can't because of some of the stuff that they've put in there, but I cherish the letters
It
that I
wasn't.
have from
You're
my
making it
children.
sound like it was bad. It wasn't bad.
No. But there are some things that I wouldn't. There's some things that you put on. There's some things that you don't. But I'm just saying that there's just something about that from a parent when you get that, because then it's a gift that keeps on giving. They can read it over and over and over. And if there's ever a time that, you go away or you live somewhere else and you're not around on a day that they're sad and missing you, or they can pull that out and read it. I would do that every year. Every year.
Okay,
Write 'em a letter.
another one is sit down with your mom and dad separately and say to your dad, what is it about? Tell me something about your childhood that I don't know.
Mhm.
I did that one time. I was in church, and Pastor Mac had talked about, he did a series on family, and I was in college, and he talked about sit down with your parents. And so I asked my dad, you know, my dad's father died when he was very young. He was a great man. My grandfather, Ernest Laverne Carpenter, Sr. That's where Dexter gets the Ernest from Dexter Ernest Wayne. And he said to me, when my dad died, I was so empty.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And at that point, and at that point, I had never thought of my father as a little boy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he talked about, I see the way you love me because my dad and I were very close. And he said, and I loved my dad like that kind of stuff.
Yep. Absolutely.
And ask them questions that they can't give yes or no answers to.
Mm-hmm.
Ask your mom, what was the hardest lesson you ever learned?
Yeah.
We were sitting, and I'm only doing this because in our family we don't do in-laws. Your family, but I'm gonna say my in-laws because I've told you that my biological father is dead. So when I say dad, I'm referring to her father. I remember probably a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, we were sitting at your parents, and I'm only saying that so you understand the differentiation. They're not my in-laws. They're my parents. And I asked your dad something about his dad. Do you remember that? And I'll never forget. It was so deep, and he was moved that Shannon and I got in the car, and we're probably the first 5-10 minutes of the drive. We didn't say anything.
It was powerful.
And then finally, Shannon's like, "What did you think?" I said, "About what he said." She's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Whoa." And she said, "I never knew that." Go make memories.
Go to your mom's, ask her if you can make Christmas cookies together, and then while you're making cookies, get your dad involved. Make him frost cookies with you.
Whoa. With a name like Rico, he's probably Italian. By the way, did you hear that, Vinny Bonsignor?
Yeah, but he said
Wait,
Ola.
just a second. Oh, he said Ola? Okay, did you hear that, Vinny Bonsignor? Vinny always gets on me because I say Italian. He goes, "It's Italian. Italian." Not I.
Funny.
And then Scott Tundis, who is Italian, my best friend, by the way, always called it Italian. So I'm sorry, Vinny, and I'm sorry, Scott. I'm trying to appease you both. Okay, you said Ola.
Well, yeah.
Okay, so wait. If you are Latino background, which he is, he said Ola. Ask her how to make. I found a new Mexican dessert called churros. It's like a cinnamon stick.
Well, whatever they
Ask her
make.
to make churros or tamales. I don't know if it's tamales or tamales, but those are very good. Wait, stop. Or my favorite, cheese and onion enchiladas. God have mercy on my
We're
soul.
talking about Christmas. Whatever it is, just bake with your mom and help her because that's making memories. And that's the time you ask her, hey, while we're making cookies, start asking her whatever you're making.
Yeah.
It's building memories.
And here's the deal. You don't understand it. You're ministering to them. But when they're gone,
You won't regret it.
you minister to yourself. You'll never forget it. Ever, as long as you live. That was one of the best questions we've ever had.
Good. Very good.
Yeah. That was a really good question, Rico. In fact, Rico, I got your email address. I'm going to send you a gift. I'm going to send you an email and ask you to send me your address. I'd like to mail you a gift. Just a gift from me to you. That was a special question.
That's good.
That was great. Thanks, Raider Nation. Love y'all. God bless you.